Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come. Yeah, Tuesday. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Tuesday morning edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope everybody had an amazing trading day yesterday. We're going to do what we do each and every day, looking at the same 10 to 12 futures markets from an educational perspective, identifying both breakouts and reversals. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button so you get the alerts and the updates as they happen. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. So the S&P this morning, we're up about 8. Now, yesterday's DMC, we talked about the fact that there was not really any quality supply here to sell against, and there was no real quality demand to get in. And so I wasn't gonna force a trade. Sometimes it seems like it's easy to force a trade and to force a level. And so we've marched up, pretty strong since the sell off on Friday evening. Prices continuing to move a bit higher. When I go to the 4-hour, however, it's more of a definitive sideways trend than anything, and maybe even slightly down. Right, we've not put in a higher swing high or a higher swing low yet. Now, I anticipate that we probably will put in a higher swing high through here because this is a retest of this area here to the left. So, my bias is definitely still more to that upward side. However, I do need to be aware that we don't have any super strong areas above us of supply to look for a reversal. So what I am looking at right now on a 15-minute time period is this area right in here, which is right around the European market open, for a potential pullback off of this 15-minute level. Now, my stop needs to go below the pivot in this case, below the area of the pivot, but I think this could be a decent shot to get back in and rejoin this upward trend. If you look at that on an hourly chart, that's a decent little pullback, and it's a rally-based rally above a pivot low. Next, the NASDAQ. So in the NQ, the NQ is trading a bit higher, obviously close to this 8,000 all-time high that we have up here. As with any all-time high, if we have a certain amount of basing in front of the level, then it can be a breakout to the upside. We are coming to the resistance point, the supply area up here, and so this 1-hour level that we have, 15-minute level that we have in the S&P is also mimicked in the NASDAQ with this area right in here. Both of those levels are 15-minute zones, so slightly lower probability. Both of them created in the Globex session, so slightly lower probability, but also both of them are in the context of a bigger picture trend that would possibly give you a chance to rejoin. Okay, so this is both levels, and certainly based on your trading plan and your risk tolerance, whether or not you take which one you take is certainly up to you. Interesting thing to consider is that the NASDAQ is up about 0.37%. The S&P is up about 0.28%. So the NASDAQ's a little bit stronger this morning, but not a whole lot. Next, crude oil. So in crude oil, we had looked at this area in here as we had this ascending kind of triangle pattern. And crude, we'd seen this potential for a reversal in here. But it didn't really go anywhere off that reversal, and now actually it's breaking to the other side, which is what we would anticipate, right? Price came into here, we got our 6-candle rule, and it went nowhere, and now it's breaking continuation to the downside move. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to basically leave this thing alone. Now, when I look at the 4-hour chart, that line actually just kind of can continue here. We had put in a little bit of a double bottom piece, and my thought was that with this double bottom, which we had put in before we saw this move down, that prices were going to be able to make it up to this region here. Unfortunately, we got our breakout, but then it just stalled at this area of supply and started to move move back down. And so now I'm getting a little bit more of that ascending triangle look about it. But it's not complete at all at this point. So what I'm going to do is let this thing be. I don't want to really add much to it. Probably my better opportunity is to look for a downward, a shorting opportunity is probably going to be your better opportunity overall. We've got a speed candle here that's just happened in about the last hour or so, and so there's a chance that you'll get an opportunity at a retest through here with this area right up above. But it's not great probabilities, only because I don't have a strong move away as of yet. Gold, we're still between our areas of both supply and demand. We put in a really clean level right here towards the end of the day yesterday. It actually may have been a potential for a breakdown. Leave me in the comments below if you saw this potential for a breakdown and took this breakdown position. That was the setup. That's a setup for a potential breakdown. I really like this level right here for a retest. This area up here from a pure price structure standpoint. My problem with it is the time of day that it was created, and the time of day it was created makes it a little bit weaker. But just keep that area in mind today. Looking at our bond markets, so on our ZN, so in the ZN we have identified this level right in here for what could become a breakdown area. This is a fair price value area that we talked about, based in here, chopped right there. But right now we're still in between some of those levels, so really nothing to add there on the ZN. Same thing with the Aussie. We're in between our areas. So in the Aussie, we do also have this little bit of supply here, which was formed in the late morning, early afternoon yesterday, and your stop would be above this pivot here. So I think we could get a little reversal there, but knowing that our 4 hour, we are still in a bigger picture upward trend environment, so it's lower probability. So by all technicalities, this would be a confirmation entry, just based on the fact that we're going against the big picture direction. In the euro, we finally broke out. We got our breakout of the 6E below this breakout line. So this is really the one that's running the most. We had no real strong entries yesterday, and except for this euro trade, which entered later in the evening last night. Still sets up pretty well. Stop would be above this pivot. I think now it's safe to take your stop and move it to break even, since you've moved about 2 to 1 on this. If you're so inclined, you can probably look to start taking some profit off the table, since you've gotten a decent little run out of it, and at the very least move your stop down. This Canadian dollar. So those of you that were in our live trade room on Sunday night, we talked about this Canadian dollar level as a potential for future flip level. And that's exactly what we saw. Price broke through here. It gave it a quick retest and then a strong move away. Now, I left it as a pink line just only to remind me why we had looked at that area and looked at that level, and it became a nice touch and go area. But what that really does for me is sets this area up in the future as a potential reversal point. And then last would be our Great British Pound and Japanese Yen. So in the Great British Pound, we see that we are still coming down in the bigger picture. Had a little bit of what we thought could turn into a breakdown line. Unfortunately, didn't get all of the basing in front of that level, although if you did take it, you certainly wouldn't have gotten stopped out based on our rules, and it's still kind of trending down. But I think we could see a little reversal up in here. So this could be an opportunity for a candle-to-candle short. Right now, remember, though, our 4 hour still to the downside. So a candle-to-candle short off the hourly chart would get you in a little bit early and a little bit premature before it reaches one of those levels. Japanese yen, our next supply level is this 15-minute zone somewhere up above us in here. When I look at the yen, zoomed in a little too much there. When I look at the yen on the 4 hour, it tells me that I probably shouldn't be trying to figure this thing out. I should probably allow a little bit more time to pass before I get in and worry about this particular trade. So there is a few things out there to trade, but don't force it, right? Don't force something if it doesn't feel like that level naturally belongs there. Wait for price to come into your levels and then take the trade from there. So hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks. See ya. Bye-bye.